Another day, another... Hey, look! A bear! Bears don't walk upright and film vlogs, Karen.
Bears don't have size 26 feet or a YouTube channel.
Hey there, so the video you just watched were all generated by this workflow here in N8N, and the idea was inspired by this new trend that I'm seeing on platforms like YouTube and TikTok, where they have these VO3 generated Bigfoot based vlog videos that are going absolutely crazy at the moment. As you can see, this one here has 2.7 million likes, and it was just uploaded 3 days ago, while this one here has 500k. And there's also another kind of video that's going viral, and that's related to a Yeti talking. And you can see here how in this particular video we have a crossover between these two characters where the Yeti and the Bigfoot is collaborating, which is super cool in my opinion. So I can see why these kinds of videos can go viral. And what I did was I basically tried to replicate this in N8N using VO3, and so that is exactly what I'm going to be showing to you in this video. By the end of it, you will learn how to generate videos with VO3 inside of N8N, and not only in horizontal format but also in vertical. And once we are done walking through this workflow, as a bonus, I'm also going to show you a method on how you can generate VO3 videos for completely free if you don't already know about it. So definitely stay tuned for that. But with that said, let's get right to it. All right, so this is our workflow, and the way I want to do this is by first executing it so that we can see it in action. And once we are done with that, I'll walk you through each of these nodes step by step so that you can understand exactly what's going on under the hood. But with that said, without wasting any more of your time, I'm just going to go ahead and execute the workflow. All right, so the process is complete. Let's go ahead and look at how it turned out. For this, I have to go to the corresponding URL that was generated by our workflow.
Apparently, I'm either a time traveler or a government agent. Guess I forgot my badge in the cave.
All right, yeah, this one definitely didn't turn out as realistic as the other ones. And for some reason, it also has this caption here. So definitely not as great as the rest, but it is what it is. So the context for this one was Bigfoot reacts to conspiracy theories about himself. And now that we looked at the execution, let's actually go over all of these nodes step by step to understand what's really going on under the hood. It's a very simple workflow. As you can see, it starts off with a manual trigger, which, as you saw earlier, I just clicked on it to basically execute this workflow manually. And the next node that we have here is our Google Sheets node. And what this node does is it basically connects with our sheet here. And in this case, its operation is getting rows, and we are filtering it based on the status column. The status column should be of the value new, right? So it looks for any rows within this table here with its status set to new. Just now when we executed this workflow, the status column for this particular workflow was actually new, so that is why it was able to process it. And as you can also see here, the output was in fact this row here, right? So we got the context, Bigfoot reacts to conspiracy theories about himself, and at the time of fetching this row here, the title, captions, and URL initially starts as empty. These get populated by our agent, and for the URL, we are basically passing it from the service that we use to generate these videos, right? And the next node that we have here is the prompt agent. This agent is basically responsible for creating the title, the post caption, and also the prompt that will be passed to VO3. You can see the prompt that we have for this particular agent is: you are an expert at writing cinematic, humorous video prompts for Google's VO3 model, specifically in a hyper-realistic vlog-style format featuring mythological, historical, or fictional characters acting like modern-day influencers. Then we are telling it, for any short scenario description you receive, example, Bigfoot tries to start a fitness influencer career, Your job is to generate a fully detailed VO3 ready prompt and return it in the following structured JSON format. And this short scenario description here corresponds to the context column within our sheet. So in our particular case here, our short description is Bigfoot reacts to conspiracy theories about himself. And that is what we are basically passing to it as a user message. And we are also labeling it. So we are saying short scenario description, Bigfoot reacts to conspiracy theories about himself, and so on. And when we go back to our system message, we got our JSON format, and this is basically for generating a structured output. So we got our title here, then we got our post caption. These two ends up in the these two columns here. So we got the title and the captions, and finally we got the prompt, and this prompt is what gets passed to the VO3 model that we'll be sending a request to, right? And we're also passing it some guidelines, and based on the research I did as I was building this system, as with any other models that you're using, prompting is super important, especially with like video generation models, as if you wanted to generate a video as accurate to your liking as possible, then you have to actually provide it with as much context as you can. So for example, we got the subject, then we are also passing in the context and the setting, and then we are giving it the action, what the character is doing, and then we are passing it the dialogue, and all the way to things like the camera style, the audio, the lens and framing, and also camera movement. Then we are passing in some rules. For example, in this case, we are saying all selfie-based videos must be shot from first-person POV, the camera's phone perspective looking at the character, never third-person view. Then we have some other rules here as well. Finally, we are also passing in an example. For instance, we are saying example short scenario description, Bigfoot complains about being called blurry, and then this is what the expected output looks like, okay? By the way, I'm going to be uploading this template to my free Skool community, so you can just download it from there and check it in detail if you'd like. We are currently at 4.2k members. Once you are here, you just have to head to YouTube video and resources section. And once you're here, just click on the corresponding post to this video that I'll be creating once I upload it. And once you're in there, just download the attached file. And once you do that, head over to your canvas and click on this three-dotted button. Currently, we are in the executions view, which is why this option here is grayed out. But normally, you would be able to click on this. So what you will do is click on that and just select the file you just downloaded, and you should be good to go. But anyway, to continue, what we have as a result from the output of this agent is as following, right? So we got the title, Bigfoot addresses conspiracy theories. Then we got the post caption, which in hindsight, we can definitely also include AI related hashtags, right? So maybe AI generated or whatever. Then we got the prompt here. This is the prompt that ultimately gets passed to VO3. So it says create a cinematic first person selfie video shot from a smartphone's perspective, showing Bigfoot towering with tangled fur and soulful eyes, gazing thoughtfully into the camera, and so on. All right, and this prompt gets passed to this HTTP request node. In this HTTP request node, we are sending a request to Fall AI. And for those of you who don't know what Fall AI is, it's basically a centralized platform, or you can think of it as a marketplace for many different AI models, and VO3 is one of them, right? So for example, you can see here there are also many different models that you can have access to. You got audio to audio, audio to video, image to 3D, and so on. They just have plenty of things here that you can play with. And in this case, in our case rather, we are using VO3, and we have two ways to interact with this and any other models within this website. The first one is directly through the website, and the second one is through an API that they expose for that particular model, right? And in our case here, that is what we are doing. We are sending a request to Fall.ai's API, and we are also specifying the model that we want to send our request to, right? And in order to be able to use this, you actually have to first authenticate. And the way you authenticate, you have to go over to Fall.ai, create an account. And once you create an account, once you do that, you can head over to the API keys page. And from here, you'll have to create an API key. And actually, I want to show you how you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to my workflow. So we are back in the editor view, okay? Once you're in the HTTP request node, you will have to select generic credential type for authentication. And then for the generic auth type, you'll have to select header auth. And once you do that, you can expand on this dropdown and click on create new credential, okay? And this is where we're gonna be adding our API key, but different services has different formats in the way that they allow to us to pass in or configure this section here. So for Fall AI, what we'll have to do is we'll have to check their documentation. I'm going to go in Fall AI and I'm going to type in Fall AI API documentation. All right, so now I know what needs to be done. For the name, we'll have to set this to authorization. Okay, then go ahead and grab your API key. I'm going to actually create one for this purpose. Okay, I'm creating an API key. And I'm going to copy this. Now that's done, I'll head back to my workflow here. And before I paste in the API key, I'm going to suffix it with key. Then I'm going to enter a space and then the API key that I just copied. And I'm also going to name this file. Okay, but I'm going to name it file2 since this is the second credential that I'm saving. And that's pretty much how you configure your authentication. All right, so now we are authenticated. And with that, we can start sending requests to the platform. And within this request, we also need to prepare a request body, which is basically the input parameters. Like for example, we are passing in a prompt here and also the aspect ratio that we want our video to be generated in. And once we do that, what's going to happen is we are going to basically create a request, and our request is going to be added in a queue. And you can see it with the response returned from this request that we are making. It says status is in queue. We have our request ID, we got our response URL, we have some other fields here. And what we are doing with the next node here is we are first waiting for 15 seconds. After waiting for 15 seconds, we hit this second HTTP request node, and the only thing that we are doing here is we are using the status URL that we receive from the response of this request, right? We got the status URL to check the status of our request, whether or not it's complete or if it's still in progress, right? And in this case, you can see that we did this for 27 times until finally the status was actually complete. And up until then, it was all in progress, in progress, in progress. And the reason we have 27 requests is because once it checks for the status, we have this if node here, and this if node here indicates whether it's complete. So we are checking for the status in particular, and we are saying if the status is either not in progress or not in queue, then you can proceed with the workflow. Otherwise, continue back in this loop, wait for another 15 seconds, right? And so what happened here in our case was this loop ran 27 times until the request was actually complete, right? So we sent the request, we waited for 15 seconds, and then we checked the video status. After that, the video status returned as in progress. Then we entered this loop again, waited for another 15 seconds, and this thing basically continued until the request was actually complete, which then continued through these nodes here. So we got the get download URL next. And so what we are doing with this request is we are simply getting the download URL for our video, right? And to be able to do that, we have to basically send another request to the response URL here. And for us to be able to send these requests here, by the way, this one and also this one, we have to be authenticated, not only for generating or creating this request initially, but also for checking its status and for getting the download URL, right? This is for safety purposes. So we would have to authenticate here as well. But what we're doing here essentially is just sending a request to this URL to get as a result the download URL, which can be accessed by anybody. And what we then do is we basically take this download URL and update the row with the corresponding value. So we are passing in the title, the captions, the URL, and also the new status, right? Once this whole process is complete, we are setting the status to generated so that the next time we run or execute this workflow, it wouldn't reprocess the same row. All right, so this is how the workflow works, which as you can see is super simple and straightforward. However, there is a caveat to this, which I think you should definitely know of, and that's regarding its price per generation, which is actually pretty expensive. If you went over to its API, you can see that it says for every second of video we generate, it's going to charge us 75 cents, and every video consists of 8 seconds, so that totals up to $6 per video. And so currently it definitely doesn't make sense to use this API, at least for now. I'm pretty sure the price is going to go down in the coming weeks, but we are definitely not there yet. So I think for the time being, this is probably not the best approach for generating VO3 videos, at least for the most of us, simply because it's too expensive. And so that brings us to the promise that I made at the beginning of the video, where I'll show you how to generate VO3 videos for completely free. And the way we're going to do that is by using, actually, let me go into this account here, by using Google's Flow tool, okay? And so I'm first going to go over there, right? And this is by Google. And once you're in here, just click on Create with Flow and then click on Get Started. and just sign in with Google. All right, perfect. We are in, and you can see that it says you must be a Google AI subscriber to generate. Feel free to look around in the meantime, right? And just click on subscribe here. And once we are here, we are actually going to proceed to subscribe to it, but don't freak out just yet, because as you can see, it says it is completely free for the first month. And so what we're going to do is we are going to get Google AI Pro, but as soon as we do subscribe, we are going to cancel our subscription, which is going to end us up with a month of free trial. And the benefits we'll get from that is 1,000 monthly AI credits, which is what we're going to be using in order to generate VO3 videos. And each VO3 high quality video corresponds to or costs 100 credits, so you get to generate 10 VO3 videos for completely free, and that is for a single account, because the only thing you have to do then is use another email, come back to the same page here, and again get Google AI Pro, enter in your credit card details. And in my case, this is going to be my third time doing it. And the best part is this: at first I thought that you could only use a credit card once, so if I tried to do it twice it wouldn't work, but that didn't turn out to be the case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get Google AI Pro again for the third time using the same credit card, just to see if it's going to work again, which at this point I'm guessing it definitely will. And by the way, apart from just getting 1,000 monthly AI credits, you are also getting all these benefits here for, again, completely free, and also access to the Flow tool, which is what we're going to be using in just a minute once we are done subscribing. And so this is basically how you can generate technically unlimited videos with VO3 as of now. And if you think that is awesome, I would also find it awesome if you could leave this video a like, as it tremendously helps with the outreach of my videos. But anyway, let's continue with this example. So what I'm going to do here is, again, I'm going to click on Get Google AI Pro, and I am going to be using the same credit card once again. Let me just get this done real quick and get back to you. All right, perfect. So it worked for the third time using the exact same credit card. So I don't see any reason to why this would not work as many times as you'd like. But now that we subscribe to it, let's go ahead and quickly unsubscribe from it before I forget it, right? So what I'm going to do here is, as you can see, by the way, we got the 1,000 credits. I'm going to click on Manage Membership. And once I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Cancel Membership. And as you can see, you can simply just cancel it, leaving you with a free month of trial at this point without paying anything. All right, there you go. We got the membership canceled, and we can simply click on New Project. And with that, as you can see, these are the options that we have. We can actually generate up to 100 videos with VO2 fast, and 50 videos with VO3 fast. Okay, this is basically a lighter version compared to our lightweight version of VO3 quality. And as you can see, for generating a single VO3 video, you need 100 credits. So basically you can generate up to 10 videos, and that's pretty much it. Now you have access to VO3. You can actually also do something like this. So we already have this workflow here, right? If I went back to Google Sheets, let me just refresh this. I could basically just set this back to new, okay? So we got Bigfoot Vlogs' his attempt to become a forest ASMR influencer. I'm gonna execute this workflow once again, since we already have everything set here. And I'll just get the prompt that it generates and pass it in to VO3. So this time, instead of having to pay $6 per generated video as I did, I can just do it for completely free. Obviously, at this point, we probably don't need this workflow anymore. We could just use ChatGPT or whatever AI you prefer, right? But since I already have everything set here, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go back to Flow, and I'm going to make sure it is on VO3 quality. For the outputs, I'm just going to make sure to set it to 1. Otherwise, it will basically generate 2, and that would cost 200, right? And I'm going to run this. And while this is running, let's actually go ahead and take a look at my other Flow accounts, right? Or the other accounts, the accounts I created using my other emails. For example, this one here.
Another day, another. Hey, look, a bear. Bears don't walk upright in film vlogs.
And by the way,
Karen.
this I did the same for this prompt here. I used the agent in N8N. Then we got this one here.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Bigfoot's Big Fields. Today, I'll be tapping some bark and smushing some bear.
By the way, this video is complete. Let's actually take a look at how it ended up looking.
Welcome to my forest ASMR. Today, bark rubbing. No Wi-Fi here, only wood-fi.
Perfect. You saw that joke? Woodfy, nice. But yeah, with that, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful as always. Again, I'm going to be uploading this whole template to my free Skool community, which, as I already said, you can just head over to the YouTube video and resources section and find the post corresponding to this video once I upload it, right? And just download the workflow and do whatever you want with it. And by the way, I also own a premium community, which is currently at 65 members. This is perfect for you if you're somebody that is serious about N8N and that wants to quickly level up their N8N skills to build production grade workflows. So what you get inside are all my N8N builds, from business templates to video generation templates to educational templates, which really teach you a lot. So there are templates like lead generation, unlimited web scraping, hybrid rag, faces video generation, and much more actually. And apart from that, you get N8N tech support by me. So if you ever get stuck, you can ask me and I'll basically help you get unstuck. And then we got 3 live calls per week. And you also get access to this news dashboard that I've created, which basically centralizes news from multiple different sources into a single dashboard, which is also really cool. You can get access to news in real time as they unfold. And there is also a classroom section with full of courses that are regularly updated, as you can see here. So you can actually head over to the classroom section directly. You get all these materials. But anyway, I don't want to take any more of your time. I do hope to see you inside. If I don't, I'll see you in the next video. With that said, have a great one.